What is going on, everyone? This is Tom with another Toy Ramble, and today I'm taking a look at the Masterverse, Masters of the Universe, New Eternia, Anti-He-Man. I am really excited to take a look at this because we have a lot of cool stuff going on. Right off the bat, amazing artwork. I love he's anti-He-Man, so he comes from the Antiverse, or the Dark Eternia universe, where he has the power of Hellskull, which is amazing. I guess I'd be evil too if the place I came from was rocking a beehive. That's pretty neat. I'm just kidding. The artwork is incredible, and I love that the armor on him is actually based on Castle Hellskull. It's interesting that He-Man doesn't have any sort of Gray Skull based armor. Like he's not walking around with the helmet of Gray Skull on him, but I guess that looked kind of silly. My immediate thought was in in classics we had Castle Grayskull Man. I would love to see a Castle Hellskull man, woman. Can't tell exactly what the gender is supposed to be, but it would be really cool. Also, holy cow, Anti-Eternia Battle Cat, one of the simplest repaints we could ever get. And now that we have Anti-Eternia He-Man in Masterverse, just take the Masterverse version of Battle Cat and repaint him. Mattel, come on, make it a make it a creations exclusive. Put him up in limited quantities. He needs a steed to ride. Just right off the bat, right off the bat. So the box is rocking all kinds of great information and all kinds of neat stuff. Real quick, I like how the box art and just the packaging overall for the Masterverse line has kind of evolved. The original packaging wasn't bad. Like I liked it. It did its job. It still presented a lot of really cool artwork, and it showed off the figures. And I liked that it gave you the also in this wave, and I like that they've managed to keep all of the essential elements that made this entertaining to look at, but it just seems to have evolved, which is nice. So I don't want to say that it's better than, but I think this was a nice starting point, and I really think that the packaging has evolved from there to showcase great artwork, to showcase the actual figure, and give us all the stuff that we were looking for in packaging. So kudos to Mattel for that. Let's not waste any more time and get this guy out of here. All here for cool stuff. It's funny that this is kind of packaged as a blind bag, but we know what's in here. And you can't be anti-Eternia He-Man without your hairpiece. This is very cool. I've never seen anything quite like this before. Keep your scissors handy, because even the most evil man in the multiverse is no match for plastic ties. The idea of a Filmation episode where Anti-He-Man shows up and the only way they can beat him is by Oracle casting an action figure spell on him that locks him in place with twist ties is hilarious to me. So here he is, free of all of his dark evil glory, Anti-Eternia He-Man, who first appeared in German radio plays. So I guess technically not appeared, first was mentioned in the German radio plays in an episode called Dark Eternia, or I'm sorry, Anti-Eternia. I've always loved this concept. I like the idea of there being an evil version of your light and shining armor, the beacon of good, but now he has to face the evil version of himself. We got it with Captain Planet. We got it with Spider-Man, with Venom. We got it with Optimus Prime, with Black Convoy, and it's always a really cool idea if you handle it well. I know it has unfortunately devolved into a little bit of a trope, but if you have a good story and you have this dark force that has come up against the again, like the beacon of hope and your knight in shining armor, it can be a really cool story. I would recommend checking out the NBC comics where he's just mentioned. I actually don't know if I don't remember if he appears or not, but he does appear in the comics for the classics universe, and that's also where he got his first official toy. He has a more meaningful, more long drawn out role in Masters of the Multiverse, where he has come through from the Antiverse. He starts fighting everyone. He's been going through different universes, acquiring power for himself, killing the He-Man of that universe, and stealing the power of Grayskull for himself. It is very cool. It's pretty dark, actually. No pun intended. So let's get into some of his detailing, which is fantastic. Just the simple black and red do wonders for the design. He is He-Man. He's just He-Man in a different color scheme technically, but I like that they went with. It's a little bit difficult to make out, but the black is not just black. It's got a little bit of a wash of kind of a pearlescent look to it, almost like an oil slick, where it's got that a little bit of a rainbow when you catch it in the right light. The rage face is fantastic. He is not happy with you. Does not want you around. The Hell Skull helmet, I think, is very cool. Now on mine, there is actually a little bit of paint smudge on this eye, but to me, that's almost not an imperfection. That kind of makes it even more disturbing. So it actually enhances the design because it wouldn't be, you're coming from a world where everything is horrible and it's a nightmare scape. Why would this be clean? I like the contrast and you can't go wrong with a black and red color scheme. It works really well. I like that the hair is also pretty reddish. At first I thought it was just brown, but it does have a little bit more of a red hue to it. The paintwork is for the most part pretty crisp. You get a little bit of overhang there. There's a little bit of red on the jawline there. You can just pretend it's the remains of his enemy because he does splash a lot of gore and violence wherever he goes. But he turned out very well, and I like that the Masterverse series has really upped their game when it comes to the sculpting. The first few waves of this, I think they struggled a little bit to get the proportions correct to make it look not quite lanky. I know that was an issue that I had with the original releases of He-Man and Skeletor, that they just looked, we're coming off of the 80s designs where everyone was a little too overly muscled, perhaps, but that became the known look. And when you stretch them out to be proportioned like this, you always run into the issue of maybe them looking too much like a swimmer and less like a barbarian. And I think that they have, over the years, really updated and grown from that. So the design of the torso and the legs, I think that the proportions have gotten a lot better, which is great. So anti-Eternia He-Man, and for a long time I kept thinking in my head anti-He-Man, but he's not your auntie, he's not your aunt. He is in fact anti-He-Man. He would join Right to Censor in the late 90s. I applaud anyone who gets that reference. So he comes with some hair because sometimes you're tired of wearing a hellscape. Oh, he's just full on bald. That's interesting. I thought maybe there's going to be a couple of pegs or something, or maybe part of the head was going to pop off with this. But he's just full on rocking the dome, plus some extra detailing to show off that cracked skull. And that makes me wonder, where did he get this? Like, what storyline happened where he got cracked in the dome and got a little bit of a souvenir there? That is kind of awesome. I like that a lot. Cover that up. Get his regular hair do on there, and that looks very good. Very orange, as Danhausen would say. Very evil. Very nice. One quick thing to point out: I do love the anti-He-Man kind of mockery. That is kind of interesting. It makes sense him being anti-He-Man and coming from a hellscape. I'm really impressed with the rage expression on Anti-Eternia He-Man. It's very almost disturbing if you stare at it directly for too long. Real nice show of the teeth. I don't know if we'll ever get this for, say, a regular He-Man release, because I don't know if he's ever been this angry aside from in uh, Revolution when he goes all feral, which deserves a new release. I would love for that to get another release and then try again and give us a more hulking body. But anti He-Man. Let's give him his. I really like the helmet on him. I think that's great. The hair is nice, but that helmet is really cool. Anti He-Man also comes with two swords. I do not know if there is a specific story behind this particular sword. There might be more importance behind it, but if there is, I don't know. And his anti-Eternia power sword, which looks great. I love it. I love a good energy sword, so this is very cool. Okay, so in all my excitement of getting Anti-Eternia He-Man out there, I did not realize that he also comes with a third sword. which is from New Adventures He-Man, which also looks really cool. It's got the red and black color scheme just like he does. And this means that at some point, Anti-Eternia He-Man killed New Adventures He-Man and took his sword, which, I'm not going to lie, makes me like him a whole lot more. Now, so public safety message. Make sure you check the box for all the accessories so you don't accidentally maybe throw something cool like this out without realizing it's there. And he comes with his shield. Now, I noticed when I'm taking it out of the package that it has multiple slots for multiple swords, which is fascinating to me. I've never seen anything like this before. That's really cool. Now, will this fit in there as well? It does. It's it's a little bit touch and go because of the hilts. Oh, no, there we go. So the worry was that the hilts would interfere with each other, but they do not. Sliding the shield onto the hand and wrist area might be a little bit of a pain. No, no, it kind of locks in there. The wrist gauntlets get a little bit, they swivel a little bit while you're trying to get that on there. So just be aware when you're setting him up. But he looks great with the shield. He looks great with the sword. And again, I love that there's this added feature of being able to put multiple swords inside the shield. I would like more figures to come with that. Also, it just looks really dangerous. You're going up there and you're fighting him, and he's got swords sticking out of his shield. That is fantastic. What a unique and creepy, creepy extra bit they have going on there. Plus, I do love the front of the shield design, having the face of Hellskull on there. That is, and it, and again, the imperfections of some of the paint on mine, I actually don't think is a negative because of how, where he comes from and how creepy it is. So this extra paint schmutz and slime could. I have an easy time imagining that this thing is. It might be alive. That it is alive and it is actively drooling because it wants the spilled blood of its enemies to feed it. Is Anti-Eternia He-Man like Grievous, where he's looking for more swords and they would look excellent as part of his collection? But this is great. I love that as a feature. I love being able to hold multiple swords. He also has a place to hold his sword in the back here, so there is also that. It looks very nice, just as a silhouette. How is he looking if he's reaching back? He can reach back and grab that sword. That is very cool. So real quick, Anti-Eternia He-Man stands at the 7-inch mark, putting him in line with most of the Masterverse figures. This is about standard height for them, about the 7-inch mark. Let's take a look at his articulation. So Anti-Eternia He-Man has a rotation at the neck on a ball socket joint that also has a little bit of a hinge so he can look up and down pretty well, look down at you when you are angering him. He has a rotating swivel at the shoulder with full rotation, a twist at the upper arm, double elbows for maximum sword play. I don't know if this hilt may not be long enough to do this, but let's see if you can hold this with two hands. Oh, and he can. That is fantastic. I love that. I love that you can hold the sword with two hands. That gives you so many more posing options. Maybe other characters can too. I just hadn't noticed that. When you have characters like Triclops and He-Man, being able to hold their sword with two hands gives you so many more options when you're setting them up on the shelf or posing them. So it is very cool that they can hold a sword with two hands. I like that a lot. Holding it with two hands does not take away from how cool he looks holding it with one hand, but being able to double hold that hilt gives you so many great posing options. So it is nice to know that he has that. So he also has rotation at the wrist for up and left and right, up and down, rotation. Yeah, I'm not sure if this technically counts as an ab crunch. I guess so. I mean, it is a ball socket on top of a larger piece, so you get full rotation at the torso, left and right, but also get a little bit of a crunch up and down, so he can fully arch back as well as lean further forward. That is very cool. Also has rotation at the waist. And I don't know if people are upset that there is none of that spring action from the original series. I don't need it. I don't think Masterverse needs it. I'm fine with it not being in Origins, but I did love it as a kid collecting He-Man initially. So you have articulation at the thigh joint. You get some pretty high distance there. So that is a pretty good joint. You have a upper thigh swivel as well. Double knee, so he can get that pretty high up there. You also have a cut joint at the calf. You also get a hinge joint and swivel at the ankle for maximum slide hosing. But like I was saying, part of the reason that I really love the whole this is an anti version of He-Man, this is an evil version of him, is because I love characters like Black Convoy, who are evil versions of Optimus Prime, and they stand for the opposite of the ideals and the things that they stand for. And I like that as a story plot. Again, Captain Planet, when you had Captain Pollution. What a fun, yeah, it was a silly episode, but it was fun to have that equal but opposite force. One of the other reasons that I love that we finally get a Masterverse He-Man is because we can now finally set him up with the Masterverse version of Sunman. In the original Origins comics, they encounter each other, and Anti-Eternia He-Man doesn't know who Sunman is, and they have a fight, and Sunman is actually able to get the upper hand on him. And I like that he technically does not come from another Eternia. Part of the reason that Anti-Eternia He-Man is such a menace is because he shares similarities with He-Man. They come from the same versions of their own world, so it makes sense that he would be an equal, if not greater, foe to fight He-Man. But when he encounters Sunman, that is different because even though they are similar, they come from similar worlds, they're not the same. So it makes sense that some man would have been able to use the element of surprise and get the upper hand on him. But now that they both have Masterverse versions of themselves, I love that we can put them up against each other and make for some excellent battles on the shelf. So that is very cool. So let's see how Anti-Eternia He-Man compares with the Transformers crossover Skeletor. And I like to think that were he involved in the crossover, which again, it just would have been so easy to just repaint Optimus Prime He-Man into Anti-Eternia He-Man rocking Black Convoy armor or Shattered Glass Optimus Prime armor, which I think would make more sense because of the whole interdimensional evil version thing. Let's see him with not technically Black Convoy, but Dead Optimus Prime, which I guess maybe makes sense a little bit because Anti-Eternia He-Man comes from a world that is dead and pretty dark, and Dead Prime's world is made worse and terrible because he is dead. So, at the end of the day, I would highly recommend getting your hands on Anti-Eternia He-Man. The design is really good. I love the concept of there being an equal but evil version of He-Man out there. The Masterverse take on him is excellent. The black and red color scheme is really good. I like the additional accessories they gave him. The evil power sword looks really nice. And of course, the Hell Skull helmet looks really good. I like that you can change it out with just a regular hairdo if that's what you want. I love the look of the shield. That is really good. It's really creepy. The look of Hellskull as a concept and then as a rendition in plastic is very entertaining. It's really neat, and I love the inclusion of the multiple sword holsters within the shield. I've never seen that before. If you have, let me know because I don't know what that came from, and I don't know what it's for, or I don't know where you might normally see that. But I'm glad that it's included in this, and I kind of hope to see that in additional figures. It adds to the playability. If you have extra swords from other characters, you can slip them in there, and it looks great. I like it. I recommend it. The pearlescent look of the black, so it's not just a flat black plastic, is a really nice touch. So yeah, depending on the lighting you get on him, he looks good no matter where you have him standing. So if you get a chance, if you see him, you can find them online. Get your hands on Anti-Eternia He-Man. I hope that you have enjoyed this review. If you have, please give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, tell your friends, tell your buddies, and until next time, take care, everybody.